So welcome everyone. Before introducing the Swedish Embassy, I'd like to mention that we have interpretation of this meeting. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see a globe and it will say interpretation or possibly in another language. So if you click on that, you can choose English or Ukrainian. If you stick with the original language, you will hear either English or Ukrainian. So I myself will switch to English now. And we have two interpreters that are supporting us in this, thankfully. So Alexander, or well, maybe I should mention that my name is Anna Riby and I'm from Swecare Foundation. And my colleague Michaela Annelind-Svan is also with us. Yeah, hi Michaela. Alexander, do you also want to say some introductory words?
Yes, I will say a few introductory words in Ukrainian. Just this technical thing about interpretation. Доброго ранку.
Good morning. So this event is interpreted simultaneously. So in the menu down below, you can select the language, either English or Ukrainian. So those who prefer Ukrainian, please go ahead and choose Ukrainian and listen to the Ukrainian interpreting, or if you prefer, you can listen in English.
So we can probably start. My name is Alexander. I'm from Swedish Embassy in Kyiv, Ukraine. Thank you for such a big interest to our event. We would like to thank the Ukrainian Ministry of Health for their willingness to share share information and opportunities for Swedish companies and organizations in Ukraine. So I suggest we start with a short, brief introduction from Deputy Head of the Embassy, Kasper Andersson. So Kasper, are you with us?
Yes, I'm very much with you all. Thank you, Alexander, for giving me the floor and for also co-organizing this event on the part of the Swedish Embassy in Kyiv. As you mentioned, I'm the Deputy Head of Mission here, and I arrived in June last year. Unfortunately, we have a high-level visit taking place today, so my colleague John Runesson will not be able to participate. But, well, let me start by saying to you all, esteemed participants, that, as you know, Sweden is a staunch ally and supporter of Ukraine in this war against the aggressor. Our support is both political, it comes in the military sphere, economically, and with humanitarian aid. Last year, our government adopted the largest ever bilateral strategy for development and reconstruction to Ukraine, amount to roughly, well, half a billion euros for the upcoming 5 years. The aim of this strategy is to contribute to Ukraine's EU integration and also strengthen freedom, resilience, economic prosperity. And it's based on Ukraine's needs, priorities, but also the understanding on all sides that Ukraine should not only rebuild whatever has been destroyed by Russia, but also to modernize across the board, also thinking of EU integration. The Russian war or aggression has, of course, as we all know, inflicted huge damage to Ukraine as a whole, but also to its healthcare system and healthcare services. We, as Sweden, is not only a country of engineers, but also pioneers when it comes to healthcare technologies. We are known for many innovations, such as the gamma knife, ultrasonography, artificial kidneys, pacemaker implants. And some of the companies that are with us today are also successful representatives of this cutting-edge technology in many spheres. Some of them are present here ever since, well, since many years past, such as Elektra, AstraZeneca, Geting, and Medicover, which is more known here in Ukraine as Synevo. And I would like to thank all of you, as in representatives from the Ministry of Health and the medical procurements of Ukraine, for providing this opportunity for companies to learn more about the opportunities to work in Ukraine. And as you know, the participation of business and private entrepreneurship is a very important part in the strategy that I mentioned, and also for the Swedish government to make sure that this is part of upcoming solutions in Ukraine. I would also like to mention that the Swedish government quite recently decided to open an unofficial trade office representing Business Sweden here in Ukraine. Andreas Gilorakis, I cannot see on my screen, but I'm sure you're here with us today. With your presence, it will be easier for Swedish healthcare companies to strengthen and/or start being present here in Ukraine. I will leave it at that as an introductory remark, and also at once apologize because I will have to leave soon to catch a train. But I wish you all a very fruitful discussion today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kasper. And the next speaker will be Anna Ribi from Swecare. This is a Swedish branch organization for healthcare, which includes private and public entities in Sweden. And Swecare has recently got an assignment from Swedish government for more intensive work in Ukraine. So Anna, could you please tell us a few words about your planned activities in Ukraine?
Yes, I absolutely can. Thank you, Alexander. And thank you everyone for joining us today, especially the representatives from Ukraine. We're really happy to see such a big audience. As I said, this is our biggest webinar ever, I think. So Swecare is a semi-governmental foundation. We work very closely with the Ministry of Health and Social Affairs in Sweden. And we try to join academia, research, public and private sector, healthcare together to improve international collaborations and also exports from the Swedish healthcare and life science sector. And we have some 120 members and larger networks of organizations in Sweden, from the small startups through, as I mentioned, academia, healthcare institutions, to the very largest corporations in Sweden, in biotech, pharmaceuticals, medtech, digital tech, and so on. And we normally organize delegation trips, often together with a minister from the Ministry of Health and Social Affairs. We receive incoming delegations, and like last spring, we participated in a couple of Ukrainian delegations. And we do webinars and seminars to spread and share knowledge. And we do also some communications about Swedish healthcare and Swedish life science companies. And thank you, Kasper, for mentioning some of the excellent innovations coming from Sweden in this area. And since the start of the full-scale invasion, Swecare has been, received a lot of questions from our members. How can we support? And we have also learned that a lot of our partners and organizations in our networks do contribute. So we wanted to investigate further what is being done and what can we done, and can we find synergies from the Swedish side. So we suggested to the ministry that we'd have a conference on this, and they were very keen on that. So on December 1st last year, we had a conference hosted by the ministry and organized together with them. And we had the honor of having the presence of Health Minister Viktor Liashko in that event as well. And we had conversations on how to support Ukraine, how to find energies, and so on. And since then, we've also followed up with a couple of workshops together with these actors, and are now looking to help the Swedish actors understand the needs and priorities of Ukraine in this work, and how we can collaborate. So this is a very good opportunity for us to help spreading information about Ukraine's needs and priorities and challenges. And we have also, since the workshops had the pleasure of receiving additional funding, so we can now work more intensively with Ukraine, as you mentioned, Alexander. And this webinar is actually the first thing we do in this project. And in June, we will also collaborate with we will collaborate with Business for Ukraine here in Sweden, and also Business Sweden is a partner in a Swedish pavilion at the Rebuild Ukraine. And we invite all of you to join us in that. It's on June 24th and 25th. So we're very happy to be organizing this webinar together with the Swedish Embassy in Kyiv and the healthcare authorities in Ukraine. And we really wish to start learning and understanding better the challenges and needs and priorities of Ukraine. So thank you for doing this together with us, Alexander, and for all the presenters and for you as participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And now we move to the Ukrainian Ministry of Health. And Oleksiy Yeremenko, head of the Office of Health System Recovery of the Ministry of Health, is today with us with his presentation about the urgent needs for Ukraine's recovery and ways for Swedish companies to cooperate. So, Oleksiy, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for organizing this event. It's so good to see the 68 participants, so it's a huge request for such information, and it's really a good signal for us, and we are feeling your support. And today I will present you with a presentation on recovery with the current status and our priorities for the next couple of years, priorities where we are focused our resources for recovery and modernization. Do you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Second one.
Perfect.
Yes. Perfect. Good. So based on the last assessment that was conducted by Government of Ukraine, World Bank, WHO, and the European Commission, we see that it's an RDNA3 report that for rapid damage and need assessment. They estimated that around 14 billion US dollar is damages for medical infrastructure, and the total medical loss estimated more than 17. Here the numbers in Ukrainian hryvnia, but sorry, we can divide it by 40 and have estimated number of dollars. As we see, the most damaged region is Donetsk, Lugansk, Kharkiv, Sumy, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia Oblast. They are most damaged and most need of support related to the infrastructure development. To prioritize, of course, first of all, we don't want just to recover that was destroyed, but we use prioritization system and want to use build a better approach. It means that to recover and modernize health system, we start a new stage of health reform. Last year, it's called Capable Healthcare Network. We developed a three-layer system with a specific expectation, a specific scope of work for each hospitals. We divided a three-layer system as general hospital cluster and above cluster. Like general hospitals, it's Hospitals in small cities that should serve around 50,000 population with a basic number of healthcare services. Next layer is a cluster hospital that should serve at least 150,000, but with more focus with 300,000, and it's a much bigger hospital that should focus on the biggest number of cases, and most of the patients will go specifically on cluster hospitals. And above cluster hospitals, it's a highest level of medical services is oblast level, and based on this prioritization, we provide investments from the medical equipment, from the infrastructure development, capacity development, and so on. And each hospital have a specific number of services that they should provide. So it's our background for recovering. It means that we don't want just to equip everyone with like everything, but with specific equipment and specific number of service. So focus for the current year, it's four like key big block. First is restoring of health service provision. Second, and its case quality and accessibility, specifically make infrastructure investment focus on hospital quality. Next block is reducing financial barriers to healthcare, and we continue development our program of medical guarantee and focusing with created a unified medical space. It's a part of reform that was started 6 years ago, and even during the war, it's continuing development. And one of the big components is rehabilitation of war victims. It's expanding rehabilitation and mental health services to address new needs for veterans and civilians. For current year, our estimated in investments, it's around 800 million US dollars. And as for now, we confirm financial only 30% of this amount. So we are looking for additional resources like grants, loans, or technical assistance. And these resources will go to like different packages from the medicational needs and to the infrastructure development.
Різні пакети для медичних потреб і для розвитку інфраструктури, тобто
So based on infrastructure development, as I said, our first like exercise was prioritization. But as a next point, we are looking for the next decade, 10 years, and our estimation is around 12 billion US dollars to recover all, to cover all infrastructure needs. Of course, this estimation based on a control area, so we don't have enough information on temporary occupied regions. So we are expecting that the numbers will grow. But in parallel, we already have some big infrastructure project, including like one of the current, it's a cover, it's a funds allocated from state budgets to restoration of medical infrastructure, and 1 billion hryvnia is allocated to arrange safe conditional medical institutions. But of course, the needs are much bigger than we have resources for now. So based on numbers for current and the next couple of years, as I said, huge number of hospitals was destroyed. It's more than 1,200 medical facilities was damaged, and 30% of them was totally destroyed. So we need quick resources to recover around 800 damaged medical facilities. Most of them was focused on primary healthcare. Also, we prioritize some big project, like 5 national institutions, including national university hospital, including big rehabilitation centers and National Cancer Institute. There are 14 priority above cluster hospitals, 10 cluster, 10 general, and 15 primary healthcare facilities. And during this year, we are expecting to open 14 rehabilitation departments. I will speak a little bit more on this, 30 mental health centers in cluster hospitals, and 60 relief spaces in primary healthcare facilities. So related to the one of the key priority developing of rehabilitation system, to cover all needs, we are planning to open inpatient departments in each cluster and above cluster healthcare facilities, and each of these hospitals should have from 30 up to 60 rehabilitation beds. As of for now, they're open in 110 and 87 needs like additional resources from it's including capacity development, infrastructure development, and some critical equipment, and we're expecting at least additional 14 patient departments, as I said, open this year. And in fact, we will cover almost all country with rehabilitation services. But again, this investment should be really focused on places where the services are not available yet. So it's not just open everywhere, but with a specific location and with a targeted support. One of our critical needs it's recovering of primary health care, and a lot of primary health care ambulatory was destroyed or critical damaged in a region that are located near the contact line. And one of the quick solutions that was developed and now implemented with WHO and some other countries is to quickly deploy temporary modular solution, like modular ambulatory. Based on our estimation in the beginning of this year, the number of such modular solutions estimated as 66, but for the last 4 months, the number is much bigger. Now it's around 100, and it's continue growing because every day the ambulatory is destroyed by Russian. So it's a very quick solution installation that allows to set up and continue to provide primary health care, as I said, specifically on frontline and the occupied regions. So we already deployed more than 40 such temporary modular solution, and we see it's very good result because it's quick and we can cover this critical needs for hromadas and regions. One of our also critical needs to build capacity of the hospitals. It's to build emergency department in general and cluster hospitals. We see it could be also built as a with a modular technology or prefabricated technology, and could be easily deployed in regions where the most critical needs. So it's increased capacity of our hospitals, and our estimate for now is 100 hospital need such departments. Next critical issue, it's a preparation for winter season. Actually, it will be a third one. And as for now, the system mostly equipped with alternative power. There are a lot of generator already installed, and this needs are mostly covered. But there are two more blocks that are very that are critical needed. It's alternative heating and alternative water supply. So we are collected data and see that like around 60% of hospitals need this alternative heating system. And because of last damages of our heating infrastructure in Kharkivska and Kyivska and other oblasts, we are starting looking for resources for this alternative heating more actively, and hopefully we have like 6 months period to be prepared. But to pass the next winter season with a capable to be able to pass the winter season. Thank you for your time. Here there are contact recovery office at most.gov.ua. Please contact us, or you always contact through our embassy. If you have any question, proposition in this area that was focused or other one, we are open to discuss and looking for our collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei, for presentation. We will have some time for questions and answers in the end of this event. And now we have a second presentation from the special state-owned enterprise of Ukraine, medical procurements in Ukraine. This enterprise is specially created to handle all public procurements in the area of healthcare in Ukraine. And today we have two speakers. It's a Deputy Director General of the enterprise, Sergei Zabolotny, and Head of the Department of Category Management, Maria Morozova. They will give you some insight on what's on plans of procurement of this year. So please, Sergei and Maria, floor is yours.
Доброго дня, шановні колеги, шановні партнери. Радий вітати вас на цій зустрічі. Мене звати Сергій Заболотній, і сьогодні...
Hello, dear partners. I am very happy to welcome you at this meeting. My name is Sergei Zabolotny, and I will present the key information on medical procurement and activity of the state enterprise medical procurement of Ukraine. The key mission of our enterprise is to transform medical procurement system of Ukraine. We procure medicines and medical devices and equipment under the centralized program of the Ministry of Health of Ukraine. Since the outbreak of the full-fledged Russian invasion, we undertook took the duty to procure medical products under the presidential initiative United 24. I would like to explain you how we organize procurement process and how we conduct procurement. The process of procurement is starting once the health care ministry develops the nomenclature, the list of products to be purchased, and we conduct needs assessment from the regions, from the medical establishments, and once the needs are established and verified, the healthcare ministry approves the list of goods to be purchased and plans deliveries to the ultimate beneficiaries, users of goods and devices. The budget of our procurement constitutes approximately 12 billion hryvnias. That is the equivalent of 285 million euros. This slide presents the key areas in which we carry out procurement. We can see on this slide that is medicines and medical devices to the amount of 8.6 billion hryvnias. Under the program United 24, we conduct purchases to the amount of 297 million hryvnias. We conduct procurement in the fields of oncology, adult and pediatric oncology. And you can see on this slide the budget we operate within. To carry out purchases, we use several tools. And the key tool for us is a Prozoro platform. Prozoro is an automated system of procurement, public procurement, and basically it is organized as an auction where the winner is selected based on the best terms of offer, and that contract is concluded with the winner. There are several other procurement tools, and one of them is Prozoro Market. That is the market similar to Amazon. Any healthcare establishment may select the necessary goods or devices and organize procurement without excessive burden of administrative paperwork. And regarding non-resident companies and their participation, supplier to be eligible as a supplier within the framework of Prozoro Market, the company needs to be a resident Ukrainian entity, and the international companies are encouraged to open legal entities in Ukraine in order to be able to offer goods and products, devices within the framework of Prozoro Market. SEP Ariba is another tool which we use in our procurement process. This is a global purchasing tool, and we use it to conclude contracts with the bid winners. In order to participate in our procurement process using Prozoro platform, the suppliers are welcome to register on electronic platforms. This slide presents the key electronic platforms that suppliers may need to register on in order to be qualified as a supplier. According to our procedures, we conduct procurement in the form of open bidding. We impose some time restrictions, some deadlines, and announcement about open bidding is usually placed no later than in 7 days before the bidding, and we determine the most economically viable and beneficial offer, which is then selected for contracting. I would like to explain the key points we focus on when selecting the winner of the bidding. The currency of our procurement processes is hryvnia, Ukrainian hryvnia. However, if we deal with a non-resident company, we provide for the use of other currencies, dollar or euro, depending on the negotiation of the parties and the wish of the potential supplier. And the delivery terms typically are DAP, what is convenient for us. If we work with non-resident company, we understand that a non-resident company will have to organize custom clearance, import custom clearance, and we can provide support in that, and we do custom clearance upon deliveries. It should be noted that we have a strong anti-corruption policy within our organization. We have our own in-house anti-corruption strategy, and we were certified according to ISO 37001. And it confirms our compliance with anti-corruption strategy. When hiring staff members, we conduct compliance tests for our staff members, potential staff members. We conduct verification of the staff to be hired, internal vetting, and we review their potential conflict of interest and corruption risks. That's it. Thank you for your attention. If you have questions, I will be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey, for presentation. So it's time for questions from the audience. Please raise your hands.
Abbas?
Yes. Hello to everybody, and I really appreciate for organizing this very key meeting. I would like to introduce our company, which is a Royax Sweden AB, as a daughter company to Royax, with its headquarters and factory in Prague. And we in Sweden are acting independently. And we have been progressing a lot with the Ukrainian inquiries during last year, and even in December, I met personally Mr. Viktor Liashko, and we had a lot of communication. And before this conference, we had been very successfully closing some specification with regard to ambulatory mobile solutions, mobile clinics, which is a priority to the Ministry of Health of Ukraine, as expressed in this presentation also. And we had good progress with the clients directly. I mean, we closed the specification. They clearly know which type of mobile solution they are looking for, and also the ambulances. And of course, we have some good references in Ukraine right now. There have been now several buses delivered, but through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Czech Republic, which was mass casualty evacuation buses, bus ambulances, and ICU buses. But then we received 3 different inquiries from the different region of Ukraine, and we had been negotiating a lot about that. For mobile ICU rooms, ambulances, and different types of emergency equipment. And these are officially sent to us together with from the mobile hospital organization in Ukraine, which is
Abbas, sorry, did you have a specific question? I think maybe these are too detailed for everyone to
that is yeah. Very, very specific, and that is maybe one of the most important issues I have to address the Ministry of Health of Ukraine, and that is the reason I had to give a summary. What happened is that after meeting Mr. Liashko, and after we had direct communication, we had this approach that the World Bank is going to back up this inquiry. And I had the meeting with that workshop with the World Bank, and they said that all these inquiries which are issued by the states administration of Ukraine must be addressed by the Ministry of Health directly to the Ministry of Finance and a copy to the office of the World Bank in Kyiv. And also I have been communicating all this through the Swedish Embassy and the Business Sweden. They are all aware of that. But even the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, when our contact was in Ukraine, it was also directly to follow up why the Ministry of Health is not forwarding these inquiries, which are from the states, regional states administration, and are among the priorities for the emergency, why it is not been forwarded to Ministry of Finance. And in that time, I think Mr. Liashko was in US, I don't know, in that situation. And that is the question that we have been waiting since December to process these inquiries, which has been received directly from the clients, I mean the states. And now that is my question, how we can proceed as long as the World Bank is also waiting to receive the inquiries, and it is must be forwarded from the Ministry of Finance of Ukraine. And that was my question, how we can proceed. Thank you very much.
I think it's a question to Alexei.
Да, дякую за запитання.
Yes, thank you for this question. I am thinking what I shall start from. As a matter of fact, resources available in Ukraine within the framework of the loan from the World Bank, they are not sufficient resources, and we are constantly looking for other resources. We have a much greater number of requests and inquiries from the regions than our possibilities, our resources. We have confirmed needs to the amount of $700 million, whereas we get funding for $250 million. So we conduct the work to prioritize key inquiries, key requests. At the same time, if we talk about establishing the rapid solutions or response, such as ambulances, mobile ambulances, we focus on the work with institutions that can provide grant funding or technical assistance funding or humanitarian aid funding, because it is linked to the procedures we have to go through together with the Ministry of Finance and the World Bank. The implementation of the projects using these resources, bureaucratic component of that may take up to 6 months. Rapid projects, that is one basket. Infrastructure projects are managed through the World Bank and the European Investment Bank. So we divide the projects into different baskets depending on available resources and priorities. And we are trying to manage how to prioritize the projects.
Any more questions?
I didn't get, to be honest, I didn't get the translation. How can I understand?
Sorry, there is a translation option in the Zoom.
Oh my God.
In the bottom of the screen, there's a button interpretation, and you can you can choose the track that's English or Ukrainian soundtrack which you would like to follow.
I'm sorry, I missed the information. I'm really sorry.
But in principle, the summary is that it's a matter of giving priority. Since the money is not enough, then it has to be prioritized, and it does take some time. But as we are recording this, and I hope that the recording has the English translations. Andreas.
And we can speak separate with you on a specific case. I think it will be better rather than
that's better. Yes, Andreas first.
Yes, just super quick. I didn't see any other hands, so I took the opportunity here. Just saying also for the Swedish companies that might be listening in now, just heads up, we will be running a series of webinars as well, very concrete and hands-on, starting next Tuesday. We'll run four webinars in the same format, 1 hour sessions, going very hands-on and practically on how to go about engaging in Ukraine and having exports and trade to and with Ukraine. So I'll post the link in the chat as well for anyone who wants to have a look and possibly sign up for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Natalia?
Доброго дня.
Day.
Доброго дня.
Good day. I represent the company AstraZeneca in Ukraine. And first of all, I would like to express my gratitude for the presentations you delivered. We appreciate very much the efforts of the government authorities in Ukraine in the healthcare sector. And we were happy to find out that despite challenges, present-day challenges that Ukraine is facing, we are also talking about expanding the program of medical guarantees. AstraZeneca company supports Ukraine, remains with Ukraine, and continues investing in clinical trials of medicines. And we were one of the first companies that resumed such projects in Ukraine. And we are investing into early diagnostics of patients and also in the information support, educational support for patients and doctors, medical doctors, and we are implementing the programs of patient support, additional programs for Ukraine to ensure patient access to innovative products. I have two questions. The first question is linked to the medical guarantee program and expanding the program coverage. It would be good to understand what plans you are working on right now, how to expand it, in addition to the key priority that we have that lies in rehabilitation program. It was already mentioned in the presentation. And whether these plans are linked, maybe linked to infrastructure investments that is the focus of the healthcare ministry. If you have this connection, or if there is a connection, please let us know about it. And the second question we would like to clarify, that is funds the state authorities are working with, international funds or foundations, Ukrainian or international funds or foundations that may be further considered by the ministry as potential partners in implementing humanitarian aid projects potentially. Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. I will try to answer them briefly because there is a great number of technical questions related to medical guarantee program. The next stage in the reform is to engage establishments of a healthcare ministry and the National Academy of Sciences to include them within the medical guarantee program to create a unified, consolidated space consisting of healthcare establishments. That will take another 2 years, but we are entering the critical phase of this reform right now.
Здоров'я буде закуповувати
Also, this will be a much more focused program when we purchase the services, not only from the institutions that meet the criteria, but identify these institutions' facilities specifically depending on their role in the network. This is one of the key functions of the National Procurement Office. So a capable network is critical at this stage. And again, when you are cooperating or you're working with any hospital, just check the status of the hospital and whether this service will be a strategic one in the next 3 or 5 years, because there are some investment risks into the rehabilitation services in the hospitals where these services won't be procured. So this could be a big mistake, and you can always check and consult with the Ministry of Health and with the National Service of Health. When it comes to the foundations, the funds, so we cooperate with everyone who comes to us and offers cooperation, and the unified list. The Department of the International Policy has this list, and we can basically discuss it separately, but the Ministry of Health is open for cooperation with all the funds. So let me clarify one thing, if possible. Do I understand you correctly that any foundation that, in case of implementing some humanitarian support project, can be suggested, offered as a donor, can be reviewed? And almost any foundation. Of course, we're not going to work with foundations that have their representative offices in Russia or Belarus, but take into account some key moments. So, yes, we cooperate with all the other foundations. Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. So we also have a question written in the chat, Daniel Manestig. Do you want to pose it orally, or should I just read it for you? So
you can just read it.
Oh, okay.
I can present. No, but I just wonder, and we have not studied all the tenders in details, but in general, you launch a tender. The question is, we as a medical manufacturer can provide financing for our own products. So how can we do that if that is not requested in the tenders? Are there other ways to cooperate with you when we come with our own financing behind our deliveries? Thank you.
So I don't think we understood the question correctly. Thank you for your question, but we didn't quite understand the essence. So what do you mean? So as far as I understand, the question is that we have the representative from a company that manufactures medical products, and the company also offers the funding for procuring its own products. So it offers its own financial instruments for procuring these medical products, like a loan, yes?
Yes.
So if
like
it's not
loan,
mentioned,
like a loan for maybe 2 years or 5 years or something like this.
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for your question. So let me try and answer it in detail. So basically, we operate, as I said in the presentation, we have a certain budget for certain nosologies and areas. And we have, basically, that's how our legislation is built, including the budgetary legislation, that we have to use the funding that has been planned for the current year, in this current year, or do some advance payment. So if you're saying that you basically provide us a certain loan, so in the next periods, we won't be able to pay for these goods. So we won't be able to pay back this loan because we have to use the funding available in this budgetary year, in this, current year that the funding is allocated for. So basically, when doing the procurement, we don't take loans. We have a certain budget, and according to this budget, we are basically using it by carrying out these procurements. And in the previous periods, we had a lot of savings of this budget because, since there are auctions, bidding, there's this bidding process, it really helps to do some savings and they save on the price that is, from the initial price. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more questions? Yes? I don't see any more raised hands. I don't see anything in the group chat. Okay, Abbas.
One more question again about the ambulatory clinics, because we are specifically working in this area. I would like to address how we can find out the priorities and the current demands of Ministry of Health in this category. Of course, we have been in contact with some customers already, but now we see that there had been a huge demand for clinics. And I want to know how we can find the right source to communicate. Thank you.
And maybe I can add, there was another question here on, as there are many facilities and infrastructure that needs to be repaired or restored, when do we find the tenders is another question.
Okay, let's start with a question on for the contact. Actually, recovery office is the key contact structure in the Ministry of Health because we are responsible for collecting needs from the regions and communication with international partners and donors. So I can show you once more this last slide with our electronic address, but maybe I will ask our embassy to share our contacts with everyone, and you can contact directly. And yeah, it's a first part. And second, I guess it's in the chat. Yes.
No, it's not in the chat. There are many healthcare facilities and infrastructure that needs to be repaired, rebuilt, or built new. When do we find the tenders? I think we understood a little bit about where, but I guess this question is about the plan.
It's a very good question, and there is no one answer. And because there are lots of different type of sources that are common, like World Bank, CEP, IB, and there are also different government budgets. So based on these different resources, the tenders and the procedure could be totally different and not synchronized. But the Ministry of Infrastructure right now working on the development one unified ecosystem. It's called DREAM. Maybe you heard it before. If not, you can type DREAM Ukraine infrastructure development. You will find website, and it is expected to start next year. The whole project that are ready for implementation will be placed there, and with a timeline, with a specific tender procedure, and so all information should be there. So we are working currently to upload as like all critical information, but it will require additional 6 months. So starting next year, I guess all information will be in the DREAM system.
Thank you. And also, where is there a place for information about all tenders? And I guess that's with.
As for now, there are no one place, as I said. But again, 99% of tenders are placed on a Prozora system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So almost there. But again, even on the Prozora, there could be different requirements. But yeah, most tenders on the Prozora, but sometimes it's hard to see. So it will be synchronized with Dream, and every donor and partners can monitor information there.
Thank you. So I think we don't have any more questions.
Yeah.
Maybe I can just give a few more minutes or 1 minute for people to think of a question. And in the meantime, start by saying thank you, and that we really hope to see all of you at the Rebuild Ukraine, including the Ministry of Health of Ukraine. It would be great to be able to connect there and learn more. But I think this has been very informative. And I see no more questions. So over to you, Alexander.
Yeah, we're perfectly in time, 11 sharp. Thank you for participation. We will share all the materials of this presentation to all of you who registered. Hope that was useful to you, and thank you, representatives of the Ministry of Health and Medical Procurements of Ukraine, for your time to meet with Swedish organizations and Swedish companies.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. Very good information. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Дякуємо дуже.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye.